These are the individuals that are most attacked in the world. Really? I would say most attacked in the world statistically is African American men. But I get it. We've got to claim victim status, even in sports where usually there is no racial victim status, but we must claim it in this world. In a blabbering rant, little Annie began by explaining that the WNBA is a collection of queer women, of black women, and they are the ones that are the most okay.
The sound of impact echoes louder than the squeak of sneakers. A throat punch, a moment of chaos that threatens to unravel the fabric of a league desperate for recognition. But the narrative immediately shifts from the physical blow to a verbal explosion. The reporter's rant exposes a complex, volatile ecosystem, where the meteoric rise of Caitlin Clark collides with the simmering frustrations of a league that feels its identity is being overlooked. This is the showdown between the old guard and the new era, a generational and ideological war that has nothing to do with jump shots. The vitriol directed at Caitlin Clark isn't just about a single foul. It is the manifestation of jealousy, resentment, and a fight for control over the narrative. Caitlin Clark brings a spotlight so bright it exposes every crack in the foundation, every insecurity, and every double standard the WNBA has tried to manage. But the reaction? The blabbering rants and accusations are exposing a critical fault line. Are these players and reporters protecting the integrity of the game? Or are they simply trying to protect a monopoly on who gets to be the face of a movement? The argument that the WNBA is a collection of marginalized individuals facing unique persecution is clashing violently with the reality that the league's soaring popularity is largely because of Caitlin Clark. The immediate fallout from the Alyssa Thomas incident was not about the officials' refusal to call a flagrant foul on Caitlin Clark. Instead, it became about a reporter's defense of the act, framing Caitlin Clark not as a victim of a cheap shot, but as a symbol of privilege. The narrative tried to turn Alyssa Thomas into the victim of the woke media onslaught, painting Caitlin Clark as a poor straight white girl who gets too much protection.
The women, this is nothing. This is child's play compared to anything that the men go through. What are you, insane? She's also saying that Alyssa Thomas is the victim of racism on social media. Yeah? Why? Because they're saying that she's a thug? Because she's saying that it's another example of an African-American lesbian hitting a poor straight white girl? Not a poor straight white girl, that's a little dramatic. But
to suggest that Caitlin Clark is treated with kid gloves is historically illiterate. Michael Jordan dealt with the Jordan rules, where the Detroit Pistons physically assaulted him. LeBron James has been subjected to a 20-year-long scrutiny of his every move. Caitlin Clark is currently playing through a gauntlet where elbows and hard fouls are the norm, yet the defenders of Alyssa Thomas are demanding the league protect them from the backlash, all while wishing Caitlin Clark would just go away. This is the long-term strategic consequence of woke media coverage. By constantly framing Caitlin Clark's success through the lens of intersectionality, the media creates a dangerous us versus them dynamic. The reporters aren't just criticizing Caitlin Clark, they are attacking her fans, calling them toxic. The message is clear. If you support Caitlin Clark, you are against the WNBA's core identity. This strategy isolates the very fanbase Caitlin Clark built, turning basketball analysis into a culture war battleground where Alyssa Thomas is seen as a warrior, and Caitlin Clark is just a temporary nuisance. The psychological warfare here is immense. Caitlin Clark enters every arena knowing she will be hunted, not just by defenders, but by a media contingent that has decided she is the villain. Alyssa Thomas and others play with a chip on their shoulder that has been sharpened by years of feeling invisible. They see Caitlin Clark not as a generational talent who elevated their paycheck, but as an interloper who is getting all the credit.
That comes with big-time scrutiny, you buffoon. Here's this woman losing her freaking mind and being a typical little liberal athletic writer.
The WNBA is a collection of women, of queer women, of black women. And these are the individuals who are most attacked in the world. It's easiest to express this vitriol to these groups of people. We don't see this.
This demand for equal but special treatment is the fatal flaw. The WNBA wants the revenue and exposure of the NBA, but they demand the insulation of a niche sport. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is held to the standard of an NBA superstar without the protection. If we look at the history of basketball, the greats were always tested. Larry Bird and Magic Johnson hated each other, but they elevated the league. Why? Because the focus was on the game, not on the sexual orientation of the players or the racial politics of the locker room. The modern WNBA, as argued by commentators, has allowed the discussion to pivot to who is sleeping with whom and who is bullying the straight white girl, completely detracting from Caitlin Clark's incredible skill. The psychological profile of the league is one of immense jealousy. They don't hate Caitlin Clark because she is privileged. They hate her because she is better, and they can't stand that she is the reason the lights are on. The financial implications are staggering. Caitlin Clark is the franchise. She is the reason the Indiana Fever games are selling out and breaking attendance records. The suggestion that she should retire is a serious indictment of the league's toxicity. If the powers that be allow Alyssa Thomas to continue getting away with physicality and the media to continue villainizing Caitlin Clark, they will kill the golden goose.
But then we're not having at least the other side of the coin backing Alyssa Thomas for, punching Caitlin Clark on the ground, because they would have seen it before and they'd say, that's a foul, call the foul.
Do you guys think, I asked the question earlier, I'll go right back to you, Sean, speaking of that, do you think, because this has gotten such notoriety and so many people have chimed in on both sides, do you think this is a tipping point? Do you think there will be a difference now in not only the refereeing, the officiating of...
There is a high-stakes climax looming. The players who hate Caitlin Clark don't appreciate her value, as the panel suggests. They think they got what they needed from her, and now she is a nuisance. But the numbers don't lie. If Caitlin Clark retires, the corporate sponsors disappear, and the league goes back to flying coach. The referees have allowed the physical play to escalate to the point of a blatant throat punch. The failure of the league to protect Caitlin Clark from Alyssa Thomas and the others isn't just a failure of officiating. It is a failure of leadership. They are so afraid of the queer black women narrative that they are allowing the game to turn into a WWE spectacle. The fear of being called racist is causing the WNBA to enable sexist and violent behavior towards their biggest star. The league is at a crossroads. Embrace Caitlin Clark in the new era or watch her walk away. The narrative arc here is clear. A league struggling with its identity is trying to tear down its savior. Caitlin Clark isn't just fighting Alyssa Thomas, she is fighting an entire system that resents her existence. The final verdict. The woke media and the resentful players will continue this crusade until the cash dries up. They want equal pay, but they demand special treatment to avoid criticism. The ultimate irony is that Caitlin Clark is the only one actually making that pay raise a reality. Here is the question that will split the room. If Caitlin Clark was a black queer player with the exact same talent, would the media be defending her as fiercely as they defend Alyssa Thomas, or would they be calling for her suspension? Drop your answer in the comments.